On today's episode of The Unwritten Rule, we're going to discuss the heartbreak for both Mizzou football, actually, to a smaller extent, and Mizzou men's basketball with their loss to Ole Miss, which it was so close. Almost got on the board in conference play. We'll talk about what went wrong, some future stuff, dive into, more of the same from Mizzou men's hoops. We'll also talk about Sam Horn, that news breaking kind of just before we started recording. So we'll give our takes on that situation with him needing Tommy John. Then we'll do quick hits. We got Ken Sports Shorts, Dirty Birds, and our fraud rankings. And then we will finish with a ratio from a friend of the show. This ratio comes from. I'll tease it now. But before we dive into it, quick word from the sponsor, BetOnline. BetOnline continues to be your number one source for all your basketball wagering needs, including pro and college hoops throughout the year. With up-to-minute odds, stats, and trends, you can follow your favorite team's path to the playoffs and March Madness with in-game betting and contests and all the best player props. Experience the world's best wagering platform anytime from your desktop or mobile devices. Head to BetOnline today to become part of the team. Remember to use our promo code BELIEVE for your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. BetOnline, the game starts here. It's hoops betting season. We all have some college basketball bets. I'll start, Peyton. I am not doing Mid-Major Monday this week because there was just a line in here from BetOnline that I could not ignore. I'm going to the Big 12, so high major, still sticking in the basketball realm. I got my Damian Lillard 3-point bet, which would have made you some money if you put that in for BetOnline. He did win the 3-point contest. I'll have more on that later. But for my bet, going to the Big 12, I'm taking Iowa State, Kenny and Peyton. Maybe a little bit of a surprise, but could be an argument that this is the best team in the Big 12 right now. I got them +9 on the road against Houston. Obviously, Houston's very good. But Peyton, taking a page out of your book, Torvik has this at +7.5 for Iowa State. Folks, this is a good value, good bang for your buck here for the Cyclones to at least keep things close in Houston. I do like the Cougars to maybe reach the Final Four, but I like the Cyclones. They have a kid. I wrote his name down. Tamian Lipsey. He's from Ames. I love a hometown hero on the college team. So he's also very good. So give me the Cyclones to cover against Houston.
I like that one, Jack. Torvik, my beloved, also has Iowa State at number 5 in their rankings, period.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very shocked by this line. I know Houston is also quite good. I'm high on Houston, but I like this one.
The metrics love the Cyclones. Get it while you can, folks. Kenny, what you got?
Jack, you also look like a former Iowa State Cyclone that plays at Mizzou now. Caleb Grill hasn't played in a while. Hopefully he sees the floor soon. But maybe we'll call it Big 12 Monday. Kansas State taking on Texas. This continues to haunt me, betting on a Kansas school, but this is Kansas State. It's different. Texas, that scene in Happy Gilmore where he looks up at the house and he sees the ghost of Chubbs and I think the alligator. That's what it is right now, but it's Shaka Smart and Chris Beard looking down on Texas, giving them that strength to cover on the Texas -9. The ghosts of their former coaches telling them to pick it up and win this game, cover against Kansas State. Please cover. I keep losing, and I can't take any more losses, Texas. And Texas, you're coming off a tough loss at home or on the road against Houston. Let's pick it up a little bit here.
Why this game in particular are the ghosts of Chris Beard and Shaka Smart looking down at them?
They need to turn it around. It's been a very tough season for the Longhorns. Big expectations, final year in the Big 12. Not going out with a bang at the moment.
We might need to ban that. We've banned Iowa for me winning too much. We might have to ban Kenny from betting on Kansas teams for it losing too much. It's just going to hurt his record. Just make us all look bad.
Kenny's going back to the well that will not feed him. We'll see if it turns around this time. I'm going back to a hand that fed me last week. Towson was able to cover the 12 against Elon. We're going back to some Colonial Athletic Association action. This one is William and Mary, the Tribe, going on the road to face C of C, College of Charleston, the Cougars. I love some alliteration. Good job, Charleston. It's not really alliteration, I guess. It's just 3 C's. But Charleston, 17-point favorites at home. You guys know I had to look this up on Torvik. Torvik has this at -17.9. Round that up to 18. Folks, get this line while it's hot. It's not going to be here for long. I don't post predictions. I post spoilers. Give me the Cougars by 17 over the Tribe. Roll Cougs.
Ooh, nice. That's Mid-Major Monday presented by Peyton. He'll have it until until the last March Madness darling falls, I'm sure. All right. Good beats, everybody. Kenny, I don't know what you're doing, man, but good
You
luck.
won't break
Good
this
luck.
week. I know that. What's the quote about insanity? Keep doing something, thinking
Yeah,
that
you
it's
do
going
the
to be a
same
different
thing over.
outcome.
Doing the same thing
Yeah.
over and over.
Yep.
Yeah. You
Yep.
got
Yep,
it.
that
Just
is
making
me
something
right
different.
now.
Kansas State just got gamed last time too against TCU. I don't know if you guys saw that.
By
It was
who?
Jameer Nelson.
Jameer
Nelson Jr.
Yep.
Former future
carried-
Missouri Tiger.
Carried the 2010 Orlando Magic to a finals appearance.
Makes you feel old to know that Jameer Nelson Jr. is not only in college, he's like a senior. He's been in college for a long time. But yeah, with that, thank you to Bet Online for all those lines. Go bet on some mid-major basketball. It's a good time. And with that, we'll get started. The unwritten rule starts right now.
Marcel, where are you going with that disc? You are not putting that on again. Marcel, okay, if you press that button, you are in very, very big trouble.
Attention. Everybody stop what you're doing. It's time for The Unwritten Rule, a Mizzou sports podcast brought to you by the Believe Network, alongside Peyton Haverman and Kenny Van Doren. Here is your host, Jack Knowlton.
Welcome back to The Unwritten Rule. Today is Monday, February 19th. February 19th. I think I said January on Friday's show, so weird. It's not January, it's February. I do know what day it is. It's Monday, February 19th, and Mizzou just cannot have nice things. After what's been a great season, kind of an up and down off season, Blake Baker gone, another hit has come the way of the Tigers in terms of the future, at the very least, because Kenny and Peyton, we have news, somewhat breaking news, because we found out about this just before we started recording here on a Sunday afternoon. Sam Horn, Mizzou's backup quarterback, the chosen one, some would used to say, at least before Brady Cook had his explosive year last year. He's going to need Tommy John, which, of course, you guys can go into more detail being baseball guys. I know it's traditionally a baseball injury, but what I do know is it's a long-term injury. Gabe DeArmond reported that he will likely be out for all of the baseball season. Of course, he plays baseball too, and all of the football season, which obviously Brady Cook is QB1. It is your backup. But I think a lot of people still expecting Sam Horn to be the guy of the future, and certainly losing your backup quarterback, with only one transfer portal left is not good. So what were y'all's reactions to this? Obviously just sucks for Sam Horn on a personal note too, but yeah, needing Tommy John, he's going to be out for a very long time.
Yeah, Tommy John is basically the worst. Tommy John surgery is the worst three words you can hear in terms of baseball injuries. It really is a total, it sets you back so far. Yes, you can come back very strong from it. More often than not nowadays, that since we know so much about medicine and everything, people come back sometimes stronger from it, but it takes so long to get back to that point. Yeah, and Gabe put it in the tweet, 12 to 15 months is the typical timetable. That is really, really tough for Sam Horn, not just for the fact that he's not going to be QB2 next year. I mean, next year when Brady Cook's out of eligibility, Sam Horn was kind of thought of. I mean, he wouldn't have stuck around this far if the coaching staff didn't tell him, "Hey, we think you're going to be the guy once Brady is gone." So, I mean, now it kind of puts that in jeopardy because he's going to miss a good amount of spring football and on the diamond. I mean, we saw it like in 2 appearances or whatever he made last year with the baseball team. Dude has an electric arm. He throws 98 with ride. He's a pretty nasty pitcher, but he got hurt last year too. It's just been really unlucky for him. Really hope he can come back strong from this, but I mean, obviously now Mizzou needs a QB2. They're going to have to look in the spring portal for that, without a doubt, because right now it's either Harold Blood or Aiden Glover, who is a true freshman. So don't really want that to be your depth. You're going to have to find a guy. Sucks they lost Jake Garcia now, I'll tell you what. But hopefully Sam Horn can come back from it. But yeah, really big blow for him.
And Gabari Johnson, that was the guy that looked like since Sam Horn was sticking around, Brady Cook was sticking around for that final year, Sam Horn would step in once he was done. That's just more time for Gabari just to sit there and wait. And he ended up going to Oregon State, probably going to get a better opportunity there to play earlier. But now he would have been number 2 for the Tigers this season. And of course, he was a 4-star. And, we don't want anyone to discount what Sam Horn was going to accomplish in baseball if he was fully healthy. He was an MLB draft prospect. If he wasn't tied to LSU or to Mizzou and had like NIL waiting for him, there was an opportunity there for teams to draft him, pull him away from that pledge to the Tigers, and just go on the baseball route. And he was a pretty sought out after player. Just no one really took the gamble of wanting to pay him and pull him away from Mizzou and lose an early draft pick or even like an 11th round pick on day 3. But the other thing is like, looking at that spring window too, I can't find the exact dates right now for when that opens, but we've talked about this before, looking at maybe like defensive linemen, even from Houston with Brian Early now on staff, who would maybe come from there to bring depth, because sometimes you follow the coach that you previously were with. And if you enter that portal, maybe you'll find someone out there that was a previous staff member of yours. Maybe there's a quarterback out there. I mean, there's no real guy on the offensive staff right now. If Kirby Moore ended up leaving, whoever was the new OC, maybe he brought someone over in that spring window, but that's not the case right now. I don't really have any names out there to even think about. Maybe Jake Garcia jumps back in the portal and comes back to Mizzou, but that's the only hypothetical I could even think of, because there's just really no names even out there linked to the Tigers.
Yeah, I think Gabe quote tweeted a guy in his replies, because they were like, who's going to be our backup quarterback or our quarterback next year? And Gabe straight up said, when the spring portal, it was like the spring portal opens and we'll find out then. I did look it up. It looks like it opens April 16th and then it closes April 30th. So obviously you expect the Tigers, we've talked about this and we'll talk about it more as it gets closer. You expect the Tigers to be busy in general during that time, but now, your priorities, you add another priority there to try and get it back up. You're right. And again, because the portal is not open, you have no idea who's going to be entering just yet. You can't really get an idea of that until these teams start spring camp. These players kind of play it out. Some of these other quarterbacks say, okay, I have no chance here. And it's another, it's a tough spot. And this was another thing we talked about. I guess I wanted to ask you guys about that, because it was like Harold Blood, you got him to come in and be essentially QB3. But how likely is it that you find, and who could you find like that is going to be willing to come in knowing they're the backup to start the season?
That I don't think you're going to get a guy that's out of eligibility like Jack Abraham. I don't think you're going to get someone like that. The guy I kind of picture them getting, I think it is an attractive QB2 spot, because Brady Cook is out after this year. Brady Cook, we've said it and seen it plenty. Like, this guy is not going to come off the field unless he's quite literally bleeding to death, it feels like. So you're going to be sitting the whole year, but then after that, that gives you time. If you're a QB2 with extra eligibility, you learn the offense, you go into spring ball next year, potentially QB1, and then you battle it out with Sam Horn down the stretch. So I do think Mizzou has a lot to offer. If you're looking for a QB2, I don't think it'll be that hard. Plus, at the end of the day, there's NIL and everything. You're going to pay a guy. Like, they'll get someone they want for this position. And it is going to be important that they do. It's probably, I would put this up there in at least their top 3 needs at this point.
Yeah, I don't think any of these quarterbacks that might enter the portal look at Mizzou as a one and done job. You were certainly going to sit with one of the best offensive coordinators from last season, who was in his first year in the SEC as your quarterbacks coach, and also with Eli Drinkwitz, who has a track record of producing some high caliber quarterbacks when he was in the ACC. So I think there's a lot of options there. Maybe a guy at the group of 5 level that's maybe stuck behind a starter, or even a starter at the group of 5 level that's probably has some competition behind him, gets into the SEC. Maybe there's another guy in the Power 4 next year that's behind with 2 guys in front of him and is not going to be able to leapfrog them in 2 years. And then it's a pretty good competition going into that next spring. Once Sam Horn is healthy, you have this mystery guy, you have Aiden Glover, and then probably whoever they get in the class of 2025, all battling it out. Even you can even address that at the transfer portal that year as well. I mean, you can never have too much quarterback depth. That's never a thing that you can have. Also with Blood, correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think he is a scholarship quarterback. I believe he is
I
a
don't
preferred
think he is.
walk-on.
Oh,
Yeah,
you
it's
might be
just
right. Yeah, you're right.
Drinkwitz never actually tweeted anything. He only tweets about tweets about the non-preferred walk-ons, whoever's on scholarship. And so he's kind of in that category with Drew Lock's cousin, and
Tommy,
it's just Tommy Lock. He's just with that depth.
Oh yeah, there you go. You don't need another quarterback. Just turn to Tommy Lock. Let him become.
I also think I was going to say I think Harold Blood is probably behind even Glover on the depth chart. I think if it were brought up to it, they would throw Glover out there instead of Blood.
Yeah, but again, you don't want. I mean, like you said right at the top, you don't want to you don't want to be throwing a true freshman out there when you have college football playoff expectations. So they'll go after someone, they'll get someone. Those names will become more clear, I think, as we get closer. Like I said, to that April 16th date when that spring window opens up. So yeah, any final QB thoughts? Tyler Macon, bring him back from Alcorn State. Talked about that off air.
There's a guy on the bench there at Alcorn State that needs a job. He has a very distant cousin with the exact same name on the baseball team for the Tigers. Maybe, do you think they meet up in the offseason? Isn't that like a reoccurring joke? The Giants of New York and then San Francisco, they meet up.
Yeah.
The one last thing I want to throw out there is that you don't see many athletes these days playing two sports. You don't see the Bo Jacksons anymore, and a lot of guys excelling in baseball and football. I mean, it's a very hard thing to do in this world and in this age of athletics. But I hope this doesn't like discourage high school athletes to not pursue a second sport. A lot of coaches want you to play baseball. They want you to run track and field. They want you to play basketball. We're getting into that world where you're getting assigned to one sport growing up. And that's the thing that kind of sucks. And it doesn't help your development at all. They want you to be able to do different sports. Look at guys in the pros like CJ Stroud. Before each game, he's like shooting a basketball, he's swinging a baseball bat, because there's different like muscles you're using and different ways you're approaching the game because you learned it from other sports. One of the best quarterback of all time, Patrick Mahomes, uses stuff he learned playing baseball and while he's playing football. So that's the thing. It's just, I don't want it to like discourage people when they look at this, especially like young Mizzou fans that are trying to do sports. They just want to like focus on one. Branch out, do these other things. It's a very hard thing in this world, especially with how much more injury prone we are and what extent that athletes are going to with their own bodies, especially at the quarterback position with the shoulder and elbow. It's just something that might look bad down the line, and everyone's like pointing at, don't play two sports, you're just going to ruin yourself. At the end of the day, it does help you in the end. It's just sometimes there are these issues like this where you have the injury that's going to keep you out a year.
It's also just, yeah, sports are fun. Like kids shouldn't be, discouraged of trying to play it at an elite level. He's funny, Mahomes in baseball. Yeah, Chris Collinsworth loves to remind fans that Patrick Mahomes did that. He's a big advocate. But yeah, I agree. Well said, Kenny. I don't know. This is like a wormhole you could go down, for a while if you want with the two sport thing. Like the schedules now for these kids, no matter what sport they play at a high level is just ridiculous. I mean, like even in football, you have these high school kids, like they're 7-on-7 flag, like, mini camps, recruiting camps. They're at all sorts of stuff now that like, it's no days off. States play spring football. So yeah, it's very much like it's becoming a lot less common to see that, but this shouldn't be discouraging to that. But anyway, in short, Mizzou needs a new backup quarterback and possibly a new QB1 for the future to look for in the transfer portal. So we'll see who kind of emerges there as some possible targets. We'll have it wrapped up. Let's segue back to the hardwood, where it is still not going well for Mizzou men's basketball. They just find seemingly every conceivable way to lose basketball games. They dropped another one, still winless in conference, 79-76. They lose to Ole Miss. Peyton, I will kick it to you first. I am going to steal the stat that you texted me and some others this morning. I think the standout thing to summarize this game, Mizzou at one point had a 12-point lead after a Aiden Shaw dunk at the 10-minute mark. Mizzou went the next 9 minutes and 55 seconds without a field goal. They only scored points from the free throw line until Tamar Bates made a layup with 5 seconds left. that I think about summarizes how Mizzou wound up losing this one. What were y'all's takeaways from another Tigers SEC loss?
Well, I have positives for a change.
Oh,
I can talk about that. I thought this was far and away Jordan Butler's best game in a Missouri Tigers uniform. He was excellent. I really mean every bit of that. You look at the numbers; they don't pop. 10-4 isn't fantastic, man. Though he really like held his own. Whether he was switched onto a guard or going up against Musa Cisse or Jamarian Sharp, two guys that have been in basketball a lot longer than him, are just as big and honestly more built physically than him. He really, really was impressive. I thought defensively in particular, he was great. I mean, he got low in a stance when he was on a guard, and really, I thought he was fantastic. There's no other way to put it. I thought Jordan Butler played his best game in a Missouri uniform. Also, on the offensive end, he was playing like a big man. He wasn't shooting threes. I mean, he was putting the ball back in after grabbing board or getting the ball down low in the post and working his way there. He was doing very good. They quite frankly, the rebound numbers may not show it. They really did play Musa Cisse and Jamarian Sharp in circles. Cisse in particular was just horrible in this game. But Aiden Shaw also, I thought he played great. He really, I think Dennis Gates got in his ear and said, you need to be more assertive when you have the ball in your hands. He's been doing that. More good things are starting to happen for him. He was good on the boards, I thought. So those were two improvements. Last positive, Dennis Gates really has just trimmed the rotation down to 8. I mean, I know there's 9 people that got minutes in this game. Carolero played 5 total minutes. And I mean, that was with Noah Carter getting 4 fouls in the first 4 minutes of the second half and having to sit almost the entire second half. He only played 14 minutes. He let Aiden Shaw just run, dude. I mean, he got 24 minutes in this game. Aiden Shaw looked a lot better. I thought he earned his minutes. He didn't even bother with Connor Vanover, and after starting Kurt Lewis in Sean East's absence, Kurt Lewis did not even check into this game. So those were good things. Negatives, they lost again, and they still just find ways to do that. This one was especially deflating because they were up 12. I thought they were going to win this game. I really did. I remember there was a Nick Honor 3 in particular where I was like, okay, they're going to win. Like, everything is clicking for them. This is it. But once again, just another loss in the column.
This was an interesting thing I just noticed, but in the first half, Ole Miss got to the free throw line how many times? 0.
Oh, yeah, 0. It was 0.
At the second half, they got to the free throw line 30 times and made 22 of them. They outscored the Tigers by 6 points in the second half. That was a big thing that stood out to me, even with a lot of those fouls I paid mention with Noah Carter with the 4 personal fouls.
If I may quickly interject, I just want to say I'm shocked it was only by 6, considering they didn't have a field goal in the final 10 minutes of the game.
Yeah. And with the same thing with Jordan Butler getting up to those 5 fouls, and the broadcast mentioned freshman, there's a lot of things he needs to understand, and he'll pick up on as it goes too. It's like not jumping when someone's jumping into him, holding strong in the paint, and that'll come with time. But even with those foul troubles, the Tigers still did not allow Ole Miss to get to the free throw line, and a lot of those points in the second half, 22 of the 49, came of the charity stripe. And that's one of the frustrating parts, is that you played so well and not fouling on shots or getting into the bonus. And then the second half, it just somewhat collapsed and you lose by 3 points on the road. In a game that I told Peyton, we were talking to each other before the game happened. I was like, screw it. This will be the one they win. And then I remembered it's a road game. And I was like, oh, never mind. If this is a home game, maybe they kind of sneak out with one. And it looked like it for a while. I posted a photo of Yadier Molina and I said 10 minutes for the rest of our lives. And
we
didn't get those 10 minutes. Yeah. I just realized that. Yeah, it was right before
what a
the
jinx.
Stretch. It's my fault.
Yikes.
It's on me.
Yeah, no. That's okay. It's okay. You were in the moment. You're living in the moment. Yeah, Peyton, on the positives I wrote down, I was like, you could make an argument. I think you even texted like that you could argue like 4 players had their best games of the season this year. And you mentioned 2 of them in Sean Butler. Sean East probably wasn't, just because he's, had some really good games, but
Minnesota happened.
Yeah, Minnesota happened, but he did have 25 points and only shot 6 field goals. He made all 12 of his free throws, 6 assists and only 3 turnovers. I think it's just nice to see him back. I'm glad he's having a nice just final year of eligibility. Ant Robinson, I mean, a decent stat line. He scored a little bit more in some other games, but 4 points, 4 rebounds, 1 assist, a steal, and a block. So just active. He was +6 for the game. So just kind of active on both ends. I think there's some promising stuff there. But yeah, I mean, I think we should briefly address the end of the game. I know it kind of feels a little bit pointless with this season not going anywhere to talk about like specifically how they lost. But there was some debate, at least amongst ourselves, with when they got the steal and then Tamar Bates, hit or I think it was leading to the Jordan Butler foul. I can't remember off the top of my head. But when they got the steal and then went for a layup, there was the thing that frustrated me, truthfully, was the final just 2 seconds after Ole Miss made that second free throw. It didn't seem like they had anything drawn up. They just threw it into Sean East and hoped that he could get a 3/4 court shot chuck off, which was a little frustrating. But then the moment really, Peyton, I know for you, was the at the free throw line, it was East. And on the second one, he did not miss it, even though they subbed Aiden Shaw into the game. I think it was down to Dennis. I think he probably told Sean East to miss it, and Sean East made it by accident.
I have no idea. Sean East went 12 for 12 on free throws, but I mean, that was nonsense. Why are you making that? Like, that was basically playing for a half-court shot, because at that point, that was like Ole Miss went to the other end and had to hit their free throws, and Mizzou had to settle for a 3/4 court shot. I mean, that was just total. Like, I don't know if that was intentional or not. I couldn't find a quote on it, and I looked everywhere. It didn't make sense to me. I know Mizzou's a terrible rebounding team, largely, but you're playing for a half-court shot by making that free throw. It doesn't make any sense to me. I'd take my chance that maybe it bounces just right. Aiden Shaw can grab it and dunk it home or something like that. But I don't know, man. It is, like you said, it's pointless at this point to care about how they win or lose these games. They're losing all of them. There's just so much. Tamar Bates really did not play well in this game. The stat line doesn't look horrible. He was largely not very good. The thing that I was like, of course that just happened, was like when Mizzou was down 7. They call up a nice I believe it was an inbounds play. They get a 3-pointer from Tamar Bates, but right before that, Ant Robinson is fouled off the ball. They go and review it. They take the 3 off the board. They give Ant a 1-and-1. He misses the front end. And instead of maybe getting a 5-point play, they get 0. That was kind of it at that point. You kind of knew it was over. Those Tigers fought back, as the broadcast loves to let us know. Like, that means a damn thing. But again, they're 0-12. 0-12. They are 0 for in 2024 and trying to win games.
Yeah, it's tough. I forgot about the 5-point swing. That was a good thing to bring up. They also had one. It was Noah Carter. They had a fast break, and at first I was like, slow it down. What are you doing? And then Noah Carter got behind his defender, free reverse layup, and it just rolled off the rim. And I was like, you got to be kidding. Because then I'm like, okay, that wasn't a bad shot. He got a good look, and it just didn't go. So yeah, whenever they need luck, they just don't seem to get it. I was trying to see, Peyton, if that might be a tendency for Dennis Gates if he actually doesn't mind playing for half-court shot. I went back to the Tennessee game that Golson hit the buzzer beater, and because Tennessee also fouled up 3 in that game, and it was Sean East at the free throw line, but the difference there was he missed the first free throw, so I think he had to make the second one just because it's you risk going up 4 if you miss both of them. So I don't know, but whether he made that first free throw, maybe he hasn't made the second one still. You're right. I think the fact he subbed Aiden Shaw in is probably indicative of they wanted him to miss it. Maybe he's just too good. It's the Papa shot. They're just automatic at the line. Either way, yeah, it's frustrating to see just a game not go their way when there were some positive takeaways, and I'm glad we acknowledge those. The Tigers do play Tennessee next this season. I did not do that on purpose. Back at home on Saturday, or sorry, excuse me, on Wednesday, that is, or Tuesday, at 6 p.m. They'll take on the Volunteers on SEC Network at home. Feels like a number one Auburn situation from 2021, where it was just no community members were there and the student section was just packed. I don't think it'll even be that full, but Mizzou's not winning that game.
You can get tickets as low as $2 in this one. They're going to be airing a snuff film on SEC Network. Tennessee will win this game by 20 plus. It will not be a good game. Tennessee is really goddamn good this year. Mizzou,
I just can't
is not.
believe-
I don't know if you've noticed.
Dalton Connect is nearly averaging the same amount of points per game that he did at Northern Colorado, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, that he is at Tennessee. I think the difference is 0.1. It's absolutely bonkers that this guy's
Yeah.
coming to the SEC and putting up the same exact numbers. Some are even better. Has less turnovers this year.
Yeah, he's ridiculous. I don't know how, I don't know how that he'd have averaged 8 points in his first year at Northern Colorado, and he just exploded. And now he's going to be a lottery pick. It's kind of insane. Here's one thing I'll ask before we segue to quick hits. I kind of want to get y'all's thoughts on a way too early number for this team next season, because there was the Barstool Mizzou post about Dennis, and Peyton, I know you quote tweeted it, where he said, at first I was super anti Dennis getting fired this year. Now I can entertain people talking about it. Our podcast stance is obviously clear. He's not getting fired this year. I'm not trying to have that discussion. But for next season, what is the number that you want to see? Whether it's win total, whether it's where they need to finish in the SEC. Peyton, I know you've said avoiding that playing on the Wednesday, which is essentially finishing below 10th. What is a reasonable number that you say, okay, this team is building, we're getting back on the Dennis kind of wave? Because again, if you think this team is getting back to the NCAA tournament after this year, you're crazy. But there's got to be some sort of expectation, or otherwise it's certainly going to be the hot seat.
I would say 7 SEC wins is the number I kind of am hoping for at this point. I think that indicates pretty good progress. At this point, they're guaranteed 6 at most, so that's not very good, if you haven't noticed. The other one I'd think of is 3 of the freshmen getting pretty consistent minutes and looking good in them. I think that would restore a lot of the hope. I don't care which 3. If I had to guess, I would say Anor Boateng, Peyton Marshall, and I honestly think Marcus Allen, just being a crazy good defender, will be able to help him carve a niche, while guys like T.O. Barrett and Trent Burns maybe need another year to develop. But I think if you can just get a few of them, just 3 that look pretty solid, I think, and get 7 SEC wins, I think people will be well off the he needs to go train. I think people will be fine with where the program is at.
I think it's very hard. We talked about it. You don't even know what this roster is going to look like. There's going to be guys on this team that we've never heard of. The first number came to my mind though is 6.5 as your over under, and I would shoot for the over and what you need. I just thought about this too, just thinking about more about Oklahoma, and we'll get into that in a second. Would you want, if I gave you 2 outcomes and you had to choose one of them, was it a guaranteed win over Oklahoma in football next year, or the Mizzou basketball team going positive in SEC play?
Mizzou going positive
Mizzou
in SEC
positive.
play.
Yeah.
Oklahoma win in a heartbeat.
We're gonna
If you
get
lose that game, you are getting destroyed, and there's no way out of it at all. You cannot dance around that with Oklahoma fans. They will hang it over your head forever.
I'd rather
I
see the
get
basketball
that.
team be good.
Yeah, I'm on Peyton's side of that coin. I'm if Mizzou's going to go 11-1 with their one loss being to Oklahoma, I'm taking that all day long. Or even 10-2 with a loss.
One of the losses to Oklahoma.
Yeah. Yeah, my number I just said was 15, which I figured that's a 500 season, 15 total wins. Because if they would be 15-16 if they had won 15 this year and lost the rest. So yeah, there's stepping stones. I think it's just people need to to taper their expectations on both sides. Dennis is not getting fired after the season, and Mizzou's not going to the NCAA tournament next year. There needs to be a, when people talk about, some hard conversations need to happen or some hard questions need to be asked, the hard conversation needs to be, Desiree Reed-Francois saying, you need to get this mark, whether it's, like you said, Peyton, with the individual objectives of the players, of the freshmen performing, and some sort of team total mark. Otherwise, that's when, the hard decision maybe has to be made. But, we'll see. Number 4 overall recruiting class, guys. Keep telling yourselves that. With that, we will segue. We'll recap the Tennessee game on Friday. Good Lord. It'd be a great video if Mizzou wins. Great video. I thought I was going to make I thought I was going to have a video. I was so excited. I was thinking about what clips I was going to use from the game, something with making fun of Jamarian Sharp for snubbing Mizzou, and just the all got ripped away from me. It's so sad.
Hey, he was terrible at least.
Yeah, that's kind of nice.
You could have called it the John Bull Bowl. That's what I thought of it as.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my goodness. Yeah, that's a throwback to that saga. Sadly, no. We'll see if I ever make a video this season. With that, we will segue and we'll finish the show with quick hits. Okay, quick hits time. Before we get into it, I wanted to do this at the end of the Mizzou segment, but I forgot. Quick Mizzou softball shout out. I saw this on Twitter. Sierra Harrison, the pitcher, got a no-hitter the other day. And it was, I don't know if you guys saw this, but it was like a double no-hitter game because they played Texas A&M Commerce, and A&M Commerce's pitcher got a no-hitter too, which not as good of news for Mizzou softball, but good to see
Mizzou
that their pitching
won.
is at least, they still won. They're elite. They're elite. This is going to become a softball podcast very fast because of how bad the basketball team is. But anyway, wanted to shout out Sierra Harrison because I didn't have we don't have Jersey of the Week this week, so I couldn't make her that. But anyway, Kenny, I will let you take it away. Ken Sports Shorts.
This week for Ken Sports Shorts, it kind of derives from a tweet from Jim Nagy of the Senior Bowl, the Reese's Senior Bowl. I meant to bring this up last week, but I thought it was a good time to do it now. Jim Nagy tweeted 4 days ago, recording here on Sunday. So one of the biggest winners from Zebra Technology data during Senior Bowl week was Mizzou cornerback Chris Abrams-Drain. Before Mobile, CAD was regarded as one of the highest football IQ pattern reading ball hawks in the 2024 draft. Thing with dialed in corners is they're rarely out of position, so it's usually hard to gauge their true speed. CAD was the second fastest player, not just corner, at the Reese's Senior Bowl this year at 21.34 miles per hour. Now that he can run like that, CAD is going up, or I guess it's an emoji. So it's rest of process, but like the going up emoji, like stocks. So the stock is going up on CAD. Yeah. And that's what it was. Just, it really stood out to me. So I thought about that and I was like, well, we know he's going to get drafted. His stock's going up. Well, I've seen a lot of comments though. Raiders fans seem to like CAD a lot. But I looked it up. There have been 5 Mizzou defensive backs that have been drafted since 2009. Can you name them? And I'll go year by year and let you know what year. And I can give you the round and the team if that helps as well.
I think I can do this.
You guys like
honestly. I think.
Okay,
Yeah.
we'll
I
start
might
with,
have to let Peyton carry.
We'll start without the round and the team, but then you guys can ask if you need it. We'll start with Peyton though. Peyton, the first one was in 2009, which was the first time since 1991 that a Mizzou defensive back was drafted. So 2009 defensive back.
Okay. For the record, when I say I think I got this, I really mean the ones in later years, the 2009 one. I'm going to need the round in the team, I think.
Okay. A second rounder to the Atlanta Falcons.
Ooh.
2009.
See, when
The
I
cool
think
thing is-
Falcons Mizzou player, I think Justin Gage, not this.
It's not just engaged. I will let you know that I think this is cool. This player's Wikipedia photo is him in a Cotton Bowl champion shirt from 2008.
Okay, so yeah, he's from the 2018. It's not EJ Gaines, is it?
No.
Okay.
I have no idea.
Yeah, I think I'll need this one.
He played from 2009 to 2015, was a Pro Bowler. That was his only NFL accolade in 2012. You guys just wanted, he was a safety.
Deep play. Oh, no. I do know who this is. Oh God, I do know his name. If I hear his name, I'm gonna.
It's a pretty
Give him another hint.
Just normal name.
Did he play for anyone else?
No, he only
No,
played
he
for the
didn't.
Falcons.
Oh my God, who is this
Oh.
guy? I know who
Jordan
this is.
Babineau.
I don't.
That's not who that is.
No, I don't think I'm gonna think of his name. So what's his name? I know who this
William
is.
Moore.
Oh my God.
Oh.
Yeah, I did know who that was.
Yeah.
When you said the Pro Bowl part, I was like, oh no, I saw a tweet about this once.
So that's the first
Next.
one. Going down the line now. Next one was 2014. We've actually mentioned him before, like
Is this
recently when I
EJ
went to the draft.
Gaines?
This is
Yeah.
EJ Gaines,
Okay.
yes, 6th rounder to the St. Louis Rams. Next one, jumping a couple more years, 7 years to be exact, and this is a 2021, and we have 2 in this
Yeah,
draft.
Josh Bledsoe and Tyree Gillespie.
Correct. Can you
Nailed.
give me the round and the team for both of them? We'll go with Tyree first.
Bledsoe 6. Or no, Gillespie, or is Gillespie 6?
No, you're right the first
Oh.
time.
Okay. No, Gillespie's 4 Raiders.
Yep,
Bledsoe is 6 Patriots.
correct. And then
go off, Peyton.
2022, Jack, can you do this one?
No.
You know
Dude.
it. You know it. He likes bowling. He likes to
Likes
bowl.
bowling?
Yes.
What? My
You know it, Jack. You know it.
I know I do.
Do you want the team?
I have well, I don't know why I have DeMarcus AC stuck in my head, but that's not who that is.
No,
That's
it's not
who
him.
it is. Yeah, can I have the team?
The Vikings.
Oh, this is the Caleb Evans.
That is correct. It was kind of easy, especially in the more closer years, but there's only been 5
Yeah.
since 2009.
That is wild.
And then
Not
6
DBU.
since 1991.
Bonus to Christian Holmes, who was
Yep.
a 6th round pick for Washington. He transferred from Mizzou to Oklahoma State.
Go Pokes.
Well done, Kenny. Good.
Okay.
Ken.
Dirty Birds of the weekend. My Dirty Bird goes to me. My Dirty Bird goes to myself. I was a St. Thomas Eagle in high school, and the reason it is me this week is because I got fooled in the recruiting game. I got a message. I think it was Thursday morning or Friday morning that I was putting in offers for a guy who wasn't receiving the offers, and he was lying on social media.
Oh no.
And they were like, you need to like check with somebody. And I'm like, the coaches aren't going to tell me if he's the one offering them. And then I saw other people from like On3 and 247 writing stories. And I was like, okay, this guy's legit. He's actually getting these offers. And then he said something to me that was kind of fishy, like a defensive line coach offered him, but I know he recruits that area. And then he said a wide receiver coach is getting in contact with him, but he plays safety. And so I was like a little bit like skeptical, but this happens a lot where you get like different coaches recruiting you, especially if you're class of 2026, you were sophomore last year. They told me like, oh, this guy's not real. They deleted his profile. It's,
Oh,
I don't
no.
get it. I do not get it. We had Wendell on here to talk about that guy who fake
was gonna
committed
say,
to Mizzou.
yeah.
You are just an asshole if you do this kind of stuff. Like you're gaining clout for nothing. And I hope this guy knows your profile doesn't exist anymore, and you'll never have a profile because you are just being an asshole by making my life harder and you wanting free clout, and you're not going to get it.
Well said.
Damn.
Well
I'm angry. I'm very angry at this guy. He's such an
Yeah,
asshole.
We did an interview with Wendell Shepard from the Missourian about that happened like kind of to him, but like, yeah, it was like a Mizzou spokesperson was like, this guy's never been on campus. I don't know why people do that. It's very strange. Very strange.
No, it was he
Sorry,
had
Kenny.
been on campus. It was just like he was only at a camp or
Or
something.
yeah.
But
Sorry, Kenny, you've been catfished.
yeah, that's a bummer. But going back to the basketball realm, my dirty bird is former future Mizzou head coach Matt Painter and his Purdue Boilermakers. If you're wondering the connection to a bird that Matt Painter has, he was once a coach at Washington and Jefferson University. They are the presidents. He was an assistant coach there. They are the presidents. Of course, the president of America, America's national bird is a bald eagle. So there you go. There's my bird connection. They lost to the Ohio State Buckeyes, who were riding the interim coach wave today, to a victory. Good for Ohio State. Purdue's downfall in March will be inevitable and glorious again. So yeah, they're my dirty birds.
We messed up because we did not do any Ohio State bet after they fired their coach. We on this podcast are big. If the coach just got fired, that team is gonna do something special.
We didn't have a betting segment afterwards. Is why.
I guess
Holtman
that's
was fired on a Wednesday, and we.
I wish one of us would have tweeted. It would have been like bonus best beat. You got the Ohio State should have been flagged by our standards. But yeah, congrats to the Buckeyes. I have 2 dirty birds. I'm going to the NBA first. This actually connects to my last best beat. I bet on Damian Lillard of the Bucks to win the 3-point contest. He did win, and he defeated Trae Young of the Atlanta Hawks, bird connection, in the finals. So Trae Young, you are a loser. You have never won anything in your career, including the 3-point contest. Congrats to Dame. And then my other dirty bird of the week is coming in college basketball. I had to do 2 because this was just too funny. I'm giving it to Tyler Kolek, the point guard for Marquette, of course, the Golden Eagles, bird. Tyler Kolek and Marquette lost by a lot of points to UConn over the weekend. And I saw on Twitter today some like UConn fans were doing a chant. I don't know if you guys saw this, but Tyler Kolek, there's been a saga where like people don't think he's like literate. They think he can't read. And he's illiterate and stuff. He can't read. It's true. And so they were doing a chant. They would sing the ABC. So they went A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K. You can't read. They yelled at that at Tyler Kolek at the free throw line. I thought it was pretty funny, and they got blown out by the Huskies. So good job, UConn fans. Tyler Kolek is a loser, not the best point guard in the country, and he's my bonus dirty bird.
You're wrong. Trae Young has won the Big 12 Freshman of the Year. He's also won the Wayman Tisdale Award. I'm going to back my guy, Boomer Sooner.
You are not a Trae Young fan.
Young.
What's with this OU meat writing today?
There was no meat writing earlier. I just said I wanted Mizzou to beat him.
I'm trolling you. I'm trolling you.
Trae Young sucks. Anyway.
Good. He has 2 awards.
Could have put him in this segment, mate.
Hey, what time is it? Kenny, what time is it? Kenny, what time is it?
You gotta say it's
Pittsburgh! The clock!
Coming in at number 5 on the fraud rankings, we got OU football fans. We've mentioned them 3 times on this podcast now. OU football fans are still whining that Mizzou is tamper you when tampering is fucking awesome, all right? I'm tired. I'm going to set the record straight. Tampering rules. Every coach should do it. I hope Trink keeps doing it if he has been doing it. Tampering rocks. OU football fans, quit whining. You have such little amount of impact on my life that I picked Mizzou winning like 8 SEC games over a win over Oklahoma.
Maybe get some better state laws. Number 4 in the fraud rankings. Going to the NBA. And Mac. He's back. Mac McClung. He wins the slam dunk contest, which was a snooze fest. Where's the spectacle? A guy in the G League is winning this thing now. It's a joke. The dunk contest is number 4 on the fraud.
It's the eye of the Mike Tiger. It's a thrill of the fight. Rising up to the challenge of our rival Gamecocks. South Carolina enters this game 21-4, 11th ranked team in the country. Colin Murray Boyles, only 13 points in 27 minutes. Fraud. South Carolina's going to be falling in the rankings this week. Play that song. Neck, baby.
At number 2, we're swinging in the SEC, where Auburn fans were around there. CAMPFIRESONG. Fraud! The fraud Tigers wore fraud goals. They lose. You camped out for days. You had college game day. Ooh, Auburn is the best place to play in the country. Drooling all over you, and you let Coach Cal and the Cats absolutely dog the Auburn Tigers. Why is your mascot an eagle?
Coach Cal is back. Anyway, what's number 1?
Jaylen Brown, can I get some help with this one? Yes, sir, I got you. Just beat it. Just beat it. Bayern Munich can't beat the fraud allegations, and Michael Jackson's raving because he's a huge Bayern Leverkusen fan, cheering us on from the heavens. The frauds of Munich are now 8 points behind Bayern Leverkusen in the table. Frauds!
Go eat some bratwurst, you losers.
Ich bin ein Berliner.
Yeah. Yeah, good front
God.
segment, everybody. I want to I want to let the record show I started to write a song for the Mac McClung for the dunk contest. I just forgot it like mid. I had it like written on my computer and I was like, "Wait, what song was I doing this to again?" And I had to bail from it cuz I couldn't remember.
This one
So
comes from
sorry.
our
Sorry to
favorite
let you
TV series, The Today Show.
know.
Guys,
Wait.
Humpty Dumpty had a great fall. His summer wasn't too bad either. What's the ratio of the week?
Did
Ratio
you
of
joke
the
too
week,
early?
It goes to our good friend Gabe DeArmond, who quote tweeted Harold R. Kuntz on Twitter. Harold posted quoted the Kansas men's basketball win graphic against Oklahoma, winning 67-57, and said, "Unless there's a meeting in KC, Jayhawks are waving goodbye to the Sooners for the foreseeable future." And that tweet had 14 likes and 5 replies. Gabe, of course, using his PowerMizzou account, quoted saying, "Maybe they'll refuse to play them for the next decade and throw a public fit about how it's Oklahoma's fault." 769 likes. Good job, Gabe DeArmond.
Well done, Gabe. Gabe DeArmond, also known as PowerMizzou on Twitter. I want to do the floor. I want the
And if
floor.
you don't get that reference, he's referencing the Mizzou Kansas saga, of course, in basketball.
Good job,
Hey.
Gabe. All right, good show. Damn, we can end with a joke because Peyton did it too early.
And he's got to go, man. We got to get the stuff in.
That's true. We gotta rattle out. You're right. We're on a tight window. All right, we'll end the show. Thank you to Bet Online for sponsoring. We'll be back on Friday, hopefully recapping. I'm not gonna say it. They're not winning against Tennessee. Hopefully recapping a performance where Dalton Connect goes under 25 points. If that's a player prop on Bet Online, don't take it because it won't hit. But anyway, we'll see you guys on Friday. We'll have some more news and stuff. We've become a Mizzou softball podcast, so maybe we'll have some reporting from there. Until then, everyone have a fun and safe week. See ya.